Hi guys, Tony Campbell here, the Property QS. So, I hope you watched our last video where we talked you through the project objective. And then today what we're going to do is we're going to talk through the next step. So after you've defined your project objective, you've set the end point of your project, what you're trying to achieve. The next step, as I mentioned last time, is working on your work breakdown structure. So the work breakdown structure is really important because it is a hierarchical list of work that needs doing on your project. So all the things that need doing, called the deliverables. So if we go back to the same analogy as we used last time, like a destination, so your project objective is the end point, the destination of your project, where you're trying to get to. And your work breakdown structure is a step-by-step list of things you need to do to get there. So it's really important to create a work breakdown structure of your project because you're going to be using work breakdown structure on every project, and it forms the basis of a lot of key project documents like the schedule, the estimate, the schedule of works, your specification, some of which we're going to go through in future emails. Okay, so let's get started. Here is our standard WBS, what everybody who goes through our training program gets access to. So you can use this really simply as a tick list for the work that needs doing on your project. You can walk around a property knowing you're going to refurbish it, and you can have this WBS with you, and you can literally be like, right, you don't need that, let's cross it out. Yes, we do need this, let's tick it and keep it. And then what you can do is you can take the original Excel document, delete what you don't need, and then there you go, you've created your work breakdown structure for your new project. Okay, so we split the WBS into three key sections. So we'll start over here on the left hand side at pre-construction. So this is everything that needs doing before you start on site. So quite simply, we've got design, which even in a refurbishment, I'd always advise people to get some architectural design done. We have a module specifically about design in our online training course. Next thing is the surveys. So you're definitely going to need an asbestos survey, provided the building was constructed before 2000, because that's when asbestos stopped being used. So more than likely you're going to need an asbestos survey, and it is the law to get one done before you start doing any refurbishment. Ecological, probably not, unless you're in an area where you need it, where there's mines or something like that. You might need a damp survey, although we always try and follow the path of least resistance with damp. So start with the cheapest fix first for damp, rather than just going straight in, oh, I need to get cavity wall injection or whatever it is. So you might need the damp survey. And if you're doing anything where you're splitting the property that you've got into multiple units, you're going to need an acoustician to do a sound survey to see what sort of sound you need to put, sound insulation you need to put between the units to stop sound transfer as part of building regulations. Contracts, contract purchase, contract preparation. Again, you don't need to go fancy on the contracts. We have a module specifically in our training about which contract to use, and then one specifically showing you how to fill it in. And you don't have to pay for that contract either. It's completely free. Or you can use something else like a JCT if you want to, but I'd always be very wary getting involved with a JCT contract if you've never used one before. Okay, then we're moving on to the construction / direct field costs. So that's everything that's needed for the construction or refurbishment of your property. You can see we've got it split down, site clearance and demolition. So you're probably going to have to at least do strip out. Then to the substructure, if you're building an extension. If you're not, you can just delete this section. Again, superstructure, mainly related to building extensions, as is the external walls. You might need to replace the external windows and doors. Internal walls, you've got three different types that you might be doing. Internal windows and doors, if there are any internal windows, and you might be updating the internal doors. You've got the internal finishes, so wall, floor and ceiling, so that can encompass paint, carpet, tiles, hard flooring, wherever it might be. Your internal joinery, so usually kitchen, architraves and skirting and your stairs. Your mechanical or plumbing package, so plumbing and drainage, and this is where your bathrooms would sit as well. Any ventilation that you need to put in, most likely in the UK, you're just going to be putting in mechanical extract ventilation in the bathrooms or the kitchen. The heating system, if you're doing anything with that, so the boiler and the radiators. Electrical, you're going to more than likely be rewiring a property, so the small power and lighting. You would need to put fire detection in as well. So you're going to have hardwired, interlinked smoke detection system. Just because it's life safety, you want to put the best system in you can for your potential tenants. Earthing, older houses might not have earthing, so you might have to upgrade the earthing, and then you're going to have to do some kind of earthing as part of your rewire. And then finally, any external works that needs doing. So wall finishes, landscaping and drainage. You can also put the roof in there as well if there's any roof repairs. And then finally, the last bit, which most people forget about in terms of the preliminary costs, you've got the site prelims, so welfare. I'm guessing as a minimum, you're going to have a toilet on site and you need to provide hot and cold running water, but this is something we can touch on at a later date. We've got a module specifically on how to deliver your projects in a legal manner. Waste disposal, skips, any scaffolding that you might need, and then any hired tools and plant. And if you're not providing these, then obviously the builder's going to have to provide them, so you need to make them aware of it so they can price for it. Any licensing requirements you need, planning permission, building control, landlord or HMO, depending on if you've got selective licensing in the area you're working in. The management costs, so project management, site management, quantity surveying. I'm not saying that you're going to have all three of these on your refurbishment project, but someone's going to have to account for something in terms of coordinating the project. And then finally, the operational costs, so the time-based cost of the project. If you need to do any isolations, which you will, you're going to have to isolate the mechanical and electrical systems if you're going to be refurbing either of those. You might have some standard and meter charges for your utilities that need to be accounted for as part of the project. Temporary power, because if you're isolating the power, you're going to have to create some temporary electrical supplies for the builders on site, and temporary water for the wet trades. You have to keep paying council tax unless you've got council tax exemption, and then any insurance that you need. So this is the standard work breakdown structure that we use on all of our projects. It's, as I said, it's a simple tick list, and all successful projects out in the wider world of project delivery start with a work breakdown structure. And like I said, it's especially important because it forms the basis of future documents. So if you stay tuned, the next email you're going to be getting, it will be talking about your specification. I'll show you how the work breakdown structure links to the specification. And then in the final email that we're going to be sending of this series is going to be to do with your schedule of works, where all of this work really culminates into one document. And I'll show you how that links to your work breakdown structure too. Okay, so thank you very much for listening. Until next time, I'll see you later.